There's a pledge for a flag and an anthem for our country too. But what we all need is a universal prayer for one love for me and you. Why do we wait for tragedy to unite us? Then we march, take a stand, and cry out for peace to guide us. Why don't we all let love bind us? And then we will all live the way we were meant to be. When did we become a world of only myself, I, and me? Loving our treasures more than allowing man to be free. How did we become so blind? We can't see that together we can all live in peace and harmony. We behave as if we are better than another, as if race, religion, and status makes one grand. But we all have the same plight amongst us. Birth and death are what unites us. We need one song, one prayer, one voice, one love. We need love.
Welcome to the First Lady Show. And here on today, a very special day as we're celebrating the second year anniversary of the First Lady Show. We have with us our very special guest, Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, representing Michigan's 14th District. Welcome.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your second year. What a blessing, and I wish you many, many more.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and God bless you. John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Where is that? Where does that stand at this time?
We know that the voting rights in America has, unfortunately, always been used as a weapon to preserve racism and discrimination.
Amen.
And again, we're trying every step of the way to put roadblocks up to protect our democracy. Our democracy is contingent upon a fair and equal voting process. And what we're seeing, based on the previous administration's big lie, he is trying his best to put doubt and to create chaos when it comes to our voting process. John Lewis bill, a voting rights bill, one of the things it does is before you change any of the voting procedures in any area, county or state, that it has to be reviewed. To give you an example, in I think it was Mississippi, they closed the clerk's offices that were in the poor and minority communities. So if you wanted to register to vote, you had to have a car, because the only places they had clerk's offices where you can get registered was miles and miles away in white affluent areas. So obviously, let's say, well, it had nothing to do with racism. It had nothing to do with discriminating, but your actions did discriminate. Because if I am poor and I don't have a car, and I'm catching a bus to work or home, how do I get to this affluent area that doesn't even have a bus system to be able to register to vote or change my address and do any of these things? And then that the previous administration or president is pushing for you can't vote by mail, which they're so upset because it turned out such a large volume of voters, people who for whatever reason did not go to the polls, were compelled to say, I will vote, but I will use vote by mail. And so it's there are so many things that are happening in America, like what we saw happening with Arizona and the audit that turned out that Biden had absolutely more votes than Trump, but actually more than was reported. And which is ironic because they call them the election ninjas. And these were people who were pro-Trump, and they were going to expose the big conspiracy, and they ended up putting their tails between their legs, leaving quietly in the night, because after all of their work, it turned out not only that Biden won, but he won by a larger margin than was reported. So it is extremely important. We're going to keep fighting for it.
Yes.
We have Schumer, who is working to make sure he has enough votes so he can bring it forward. And Mitch McConnell is vowing not to, because the latest rhetoric is that we don't need any voting rights bills because everything is fair in the midst of all of this chaos. But we'll, you know, you don't get mad because they want you to become distracted and focus your attention somewhere else. We got to stay focused, get this bill passed, and protect our democracy.
Amen. And certainly we do, and we're certainly going to get that information out as much as, and sound the alarm. It is so important. Just as we sounded the alarm here on the First Lady Show and in so many other places, how important it was to vote for the presidential election.
Yes.
These local elections are just as important. You have to get out for this local election in November, on November 2nd. Get out and vote for these city council members. Vote for the city clerks in some cases, which is where the voting is. You know, they handle the whole voting process in the cities. So that position is so important. You know, the mayors are being elected in this particular election in so many different states. In so many different cities, I'm sorry. The mayors are even being elected.
Well, First Lady, I wanted to also make a comment that right now, you look at the majority cities, Detroit, Southfield, Pontiac, Flint, all these other areas, and you would think that among our own communities that we could elect political leaders. Our farm or our bench, our farm club or our bench comes from these local elections. Think about my career. I started out on the school board.
Yes.
People don't even know who's on the school board and don't vote for. Then I went to city council. Then I went to mayor, and I'm just so grateful for God's grace and for the people who supported me to be in Congress. But when I ran, I had enough experience to bring quality service, public service to the people.
Amen.
So please pay attention to these, because some people are without, not because they're not capable, but it's just because they haven't been given the opportunity to be competitive with some of these other folks who are in office.
Amen. And thank you so much for that, because I know even in Southfield, you started out, as you stated, on the school board, and then you went to the city council, and then now you're in Congress. I mean, to mayor, and then to Congress now. And I know you have a Black woman running for mayor in the city of Southfield, even.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes, you do. I know you have, and that's Tanya Morris.
Tanya Morris, yes.
Absolutely. You know, again, she's starting from city council, and she's running for mayor. So she has something under her belt there with some experience and other experiences that she's mounted. And now, as you state, sometimes it could be a whole lot of factors involved, because there's some people have more funding and so forth, and that's
or
usually
name recognition.
Pardon me, or name recognition. There we go. That's the one that mess up a lot of elections. That name recognition. Oh, we never heard of her or him before. No, you haven't, because they didn't have the money to throw that in front of you as much, or that doesn't make a person a great politician or a great candidate because of the fact that you know their name, or you know their mama's name, or you knew their dad, or or whatever. No. We need to vote for people on their record, on what they have done, on the substance of who they are and what they represent.
And if I could just bring up a point of contention that I have with my people in my community.
Yes.
Financial support for politicians who are running, and especially for women and for minorities who, if they just had the equal playing field with some of the other well-funded candidates, could be very competitive. And I know that when I call and ask people for, and I'm going to say something that some people may not like, but it's a reality. You can give a fundraiser and everybody has $2,000 on their arm and $1,000 on their feet, and they'll give you a check for $25. I mean, but you'll go to other communities and they'll write you $1,000 check. They'll write you, like, we need you in office. We want you there.
Yes.
And, I'm not asking anyone to give beyond their means, but what do you value? Is it, you value these things, but in reality, you're losing your voting rights. You're losing your basements are flooding. You're losing all these things where you can have someone fighting for you and be there for you and know your journey. And that's one of the things that's missing a lot of times. These people just don't have a clue what it means to be in America and to be an African American, and the things that our community is lacking, that they just think that's just normal for us.
Right.
Exactly. They're just not able to understand our play. In the Tyler Perry movie Good Deeds, she said the co-star in that movie said something very important, and it resonated with me then, and I want to bring it up now. She asked him, he was a successful businessman, and she asked him, do you even know how much a gallon of milk cost?
Right.
In other words, she brought him home. She brought it home. And no, he didn't. He had no idea of the plight of real people, of everyday people. No understanding, no relation, never experienced it. You didn't even know how much a gallon of milk was.
Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, these people don't want to get out here and vote. We had 5,000 people in the city of Detroit to vote and 6,000 in Pontiac for the last
that primary election.
That primary was a joke. I'm just saying, what, even if we passed a law that we can vote, how can we still get them out? Besides for absentee ballots, we understand that, but just the ones, how can we get it through everyone's head that how important it is to vote is the key also.
Well, one of the things that we don't want people to put up barriers, sometimes we have to remove barriers. So there's some states that you have like a voting week where from Sunday to Sunday you can vote, and you can vote in a grocery store, you can vote anywhere.
Oh yeah.
But to make it more convenient, it's sad. It breaks my heart that we're even having that people don't want to vote. I mean, seriously, do you realize what you're saying? That your forefathers who fought and died, and John Lewis, God rest his soul, when he was alive, he said, Brenda, why do you think they fight? There are people who fight so hard to stop us from voting. It's because they know that voting is our power.
Amen.
As long as they can say, you don't need to vote, because they did that in this last one. You don't need to vote.
Yeah.
Nobody, it doesn't mean anything. Nobody cares. Why waste your time? And they literally were having social media campaigns telling people, Black people, stay at home, don't vote. Because they know if we exercise our power, if we things would change. It was for the better for us.
And take it a little further, our numbers are so great. that we can make a difference in our own, and especially in our communities, but in everywhere we will make a difference. That's really the biggest fear, is that we have already outnumbered them. And
Yeah.
if we actually get out and vote the numbers that we have, we would be able to make the changes in our community, clean up our communities, build up our communities. We will be able to have schools that represent the best schools that possible in those communities, because you are the majority. Now you have voted in representatives that know your plight. They understand what you need and what you want in that community, and the numbers are there. As you state, we just have to keep working at inspiring those people, helping them to understand that not only if your vote did not matter, it wouldn't be fought so hard. No one would fight hard if it didn't mean anything. I swear they wouldn't fight as hard. That's one of the main things. They wouldn't fight you so hard if it wasn't so important.
Yes, God.
So, First Lady, I am going to have to transition to my next commitment. I just want to know what an honor it is and how much I enjoy speaking to you. Last time we talked, we were in the middle of the pandemic and just asking God's grace.
Amen.
We need to take a moment to think about those who did not make it through, but to thank God for his grace, for allowing us to be together here. And it's obvious we have work to do, and you're bringing us together and providing this is part of the work. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much,
you.
Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, again here on the First Lady Show. We love you, and we thank you for coming back again. And may God continue to just walk with you and just help you to shine that bright light on the Hill in Washington, D.C., and also in the state of Michigan. We love you, and we thank God for you.
Thank you so much. Be blessed. Talk to you soon.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.